West Texas Droning, episode number 5, and here we go. All right, and one of the things I wanted to do this time is I was interested in going to fly at night, and I did purchase and mount on the drone a strobe, which is supposedly visible for 3 miles, and I was going to start at night. I was going to start at dusk and test it out, see how effective the strobe was before I actually tried a night flight. So here's what the strobe looks like, and it looks brighter than it really is. The camera's, pardon my finger there, camera kind of compensates for the darkness by making it look brighter, but it wasn't. So what we're going to do is try the strobe and fly it out in dusk, see how far we can see it and how well it works. And if I get brave enough, well, maybe we'll start flying more at night. But I'm going to discuss in the video the ramifications of actually doing that. So here we go. It is dusk, and you can see the sun has just gone over the hills there. Now behind me there's some hills high enough they're still catching some sunlight. But as you can see with the autofocus on these cameras on these drones, which I have it set for, it's going to set itself for kind of a, if you're a photographer, you know, a 12% gray target. And so that means bright things are still bright, and it tries to stop down. It makes dark things even darker, but you see as I pan around away from the sun, the surfaced image gets a lot brighter, and you can still see a little bit of sunlight topping the highest parts of the hills off to our east. It was a really pretty evening. You can see the moon up there in the corner, or just in the center there. About 55 degrees, no wind, no clouds. Beautiful evening. I wish we'd had some clouds. We could have had pretty clouds lit up by the pink rays of the sun, but this is what we got, so this is what we're going to go with. But it was a really super lovely evening. And the evening we took this, it was almost a full moon, not quite. The next evening was the full moon, but it was still pretty out. There's my trash pile. And there's looking into the sunset. So I'm not going to do a lot of far traveling. This is just an experiment to check out my strobe and its visibility and to determine if I may want to put 2 on it. This one's mounted on top, and the thinking there is that the drone is at 400 feet AGL or below, and most aircraft are supposed to be at least 500 feet above the ground. And that way, if the drone lit on top, the airplane would have a better chance of seeing it. But from the ground, looking up, you don't see that strobe on top. And I may see if I can mount another one on the belly of the drone, and that way be able to see it a lot better. As you can see, when the camera adjusts for the sunset, the ground features go completely dark. And one of the reasons that I really not sure I'm going to fly at night out here in the country is when the sun goes down, there's not a blessed thing to be seen. I mean, there's no big city with lights, and it'd be unusual to see a lot of stars, maybe a few bright ones, so there'd really just be a black screen to watch out here in the boondocks. And I had the drone in sight and the strobe in sight, and here I'm about maybe 800, 900 feet away, and I'm screwing around messing with the zoom function. I'm real clumsily fooling around with it, and it makes a neat shot. I like that. The hues of the purples and pinks around the horizon, the soft blue sky, and the big bright moon makes for a nice evening. I'm not doing any real aggressive flying here in these situations. I do have the drone in sight, I do have the strobe in sight, but it was getting scary out there as it got darker and darker. So, as I said, this is just a test of the effectiveness of the anti-collision strobe. But this time I was wishing I had someone else out there with me with a camera with a telephoto lens, and there were some interesting shots I would have liked to have taken, but maybe I'll do that the next time. Kind of wondered if any of you guys out there do fly at night. Well, when you come back and land, do you trust the return to home, or do you just go ahead and do it manually? To me, it would seem a good way to start to return to home in limited visibility. You can see the strobe, but it's hard to judge sometimes just by looking at the strobe. But I'm not sure I trust the return to home enough to land in the dark. There's a small town off to the northwest of it. It's a real tiny town, and they pretty much pack it in at dark so that it's too far away for me to fly from my location, and there wouldn't be much to see there at night anyway. They kind of shut down and go to bed after dark. And I turned my truck headlights on and pointed them toward the landing pad there, just in case I wanted to try the return to home. That way the camera were looking down could confirm to me whether that was the actual landing pad it was going into. And so we're going to go in and set it down. And that right there is just about the end of the video, just landing in the dark there. But the strobe held up really well. It was just as bright when it landed as it was when it took off. And so that was my first excursion into the nighttime, or not really nighttime, but the dusk hours, that period before 30 minutes after sunset, dusk period. And I really did hang in there to do it much longer. Anyway, I thank you for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed my little experiment. And I've got another program in the works, and we'll be putting it out the next day or so. So thank you very much.